Look around you right now. Take a good look. The walls of your room, the screen you're staring at, even the memories playing softly in the back of your mind. They all feel permanent, don't they? Solid. Real. But what if I told you that everything you think you know, literally every assumption you have about your life, your choices, and the universe itself, is actually a fragile, decaying construct? In this explainer, we're going to dismantle the world you thought you lived in, layer by terrifying layer. Okay, let's dive into this. Cast your mind back to February 2015. One single photograph completely broke the internet. You definitely remember it, the infamous dress. Millions of us looked at the exact same pixels on a screen. Half of us swore it was white and gold, and the other half were absolutely convinced it was blue and black. Honestly, relationships were nearly ruined over this thing. But it wasn't just a silly viral trend. It was glaring, undeniable proof that your most basic fundamental senses, your own eyes, cannot be trusted to show you objective reality. If we can't even agree on the color of a piece of fabric, what else is our biology lying to us about? Which brings us to a massive, unsettling question, one the 17th century philosopher René Descartes drove himself crazy over with his radical skepticism. How do you know for an absolute fact that you aren't dreaming right now? Or to put it in a more modern context, how do you know you aren't hooked up to a giant sensory simulation this very second? Seriously, think about it. There is literally no mathematical or scientific way to completely disprove that you are living inside a simulation right now. None. But the truth gets stranger as we peel back layer one, the invasion of the mind. Because it isn't just the physical world outside of you that's an illusion. It's the internal world, your very consciousness, that is deeply, disturbingly vulnerable. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this concept of cryptomnesia. Basically, it's a memory glitch where your brain mistakenly believes a current thought is a product of your own brilliant creation. In reality, you've encountered it before, totally forgotten the source, and your brain is just quietly passing it off as original. This means your most profound epiphanies, your absolute best ideas, they might actually be completely stolen or implanted without you ever realizing it. The famed neurologist Oliver Sacks hit the nail on the head when he summarized this dread. He said, "It is startling to realize that some of our most cherished memories may have never happened or may have happened to someone else." That's chilling, right? And it's not just some fringe theory. George Harrison from the Beatles famously ended up in court because his massive hit song, My Sweet Lord, inadvertently plagiarized an older track. His subconscious had secretly replayed someone else's reality, entirely passing it off as his own. So, if our minds naturally betray us on their own, what happens when they are intentionally dismantled? Well, history shows us that powerful entities have been trying to crack the human mind for decades. Back in 1943, we saw the first LSD trip. Fast forward to 1953, and the CIA launched MKUltra, a top-secret program focused entirely on covert behavior modification and mind control, literally dosing unknowing citizens with psychedelics. And even before that, in 1945, the Manhattan Project secretly injected unknowing hospital patients with weaponized plutonium just to observe the horrific effects. Our minds are incredibly fragile, highly susceptible to manipulation by our own biology and by shadowy forces totally outside of our control. So I want you to sit with this for a second. If your memories can be completely false, your thoughts unknowingly stolen, and your mind chemically altered by secret programs, who is really making your choices right now? This is where reality begins to break down. Welcome to Layer 2, the illusion of control. We love to think that we navigate a free market, right? That we cast our votes, make our purchases, and ultimately shape society. We believe we're the masters of our collective destiny. But let's pull back the curtain on the massive, hidden financial entities that actually manage our modern world. I want you to just let that number sink in. $24 trillion. That's 24 with 12 zeros. That is the combined wealth managed by just 4 major investment companies: BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, and Fidelity. This figure is so staggering it's hard to even comprehend. It's roughly equivalent to half of the United States' entire gross domestic product. All of it, completely concentrated in the hands of a few asset managers sitting in quiet boardrooms. And this brilliantly illustrates the illusion of choice. When you buy a plane ticket, or watch the news, or purchase medicine at the pharmacy, you probably think you're interacting with competing independent businesses. But you're not. These megacorporations secretly own significant consolidated stakes across almost every single industry you interact with on a daily basis. From the airlines to the corporate media to huge retail chains, this immense concentration of ownership severely limits true competition. It turns your so-called free market choices into a carefully curated mirage.
You might be wondering, how do they actually pull this off? Well, it comes down to data and supreme calculation. BlackRock, for instance, utilizes a proprietary software system known as Aladdin. This technology manages tens of trillions in assets by absorbing staggering amounts of global data. And yeah, that includes your personal data. It essentially predicts and predetermines the movements of the global economy. Human intuition and free market forces, they're practically obsolete.
We live our lives clicking, buying, and striving, but the rails we're running on have already been laid down by financial algorithms and a handful of incredibly powerful executives. If the boundaries of your economic and social reality are dictated from the top down by a computer program, are we truly free? Or are we simply participants in a remarkably complex ant farm? And that's not even the disturbing part. As we peel back layer 3, the cosmic terror, we realize that everything we've talked about so far, our flawed senses, our fragile minds, our tightly controlled societies, is just happening on one tiny, insignificant pale blue speck of dust. It's time to zoom out to the mind-bending scale of the universe. When we look through the James Webb Space Telescope, we see a universe absolutely littered with trillions of galaxies. Trillions. Statistically speaking, the probability of alien life existing is practically an absolute certainty. There is no way we are alone. Yet, when we listen to the cosmos, we hear nothing. Nothing but a deafening great silence. This is the famous Fermi paradox. With all this infinite space, where is everybody? There are plenty of theories, but one of the absolute most chilling is the dark forest hypothesis. It suggests that the universe isn't empty at all. It's actually full of highly advanced, cunning civilizations, but they are completely silent. They are hiding in the darkness. Why? Because they know that reaching out into the cosmic void might attract the attention of a highly aggressive apex predator. To them, the safety of the shadows is far better than a friendly hello that could lead to their immediate eradication. So, the crucial point is the concept of the Great Filter. This theory suggests there's an evolutionary hurdle so incredibly difficult that it systematically wipes out almost all intelligent life in the universe. The truly terrifying question we have to ask ourselves is this: is that ultimate test already behind us, meaning humanity is just this rare, exceptionally lucky survivor, or is the Great Filter waiting just ahead of us in our future, meaning we are completely inevitably doomed? What happens next changes everything. Welcome to Layer 4, the limits of knowledge. So we've established that our biology lies to us, our society is heavily engineered, and our universe is a terrifyingly silent graveyard. But what if the very rules we use to make sense of all of this, our science and our history, are fundamentally broken? Think about it. Our knowledge is built entirely on a foundation of erased truths. The burning of the Library of Alexandria destroyed massive amounts of ancient human insight. Entire pre-Ice Age civilizations might have existed and vanished without a single trace, leaving our historical timeline completely fractured. And it's not just history, it's modern physics too. In quantum mechanics, scientists have actually proven that the mere act of measuring a photon literally changes it from a wave to a particle. Just observing something alters physical reality itself. It completely destroys the concept of an objective, independent universe. Let's move to and see how this builds into an undeniable sense of dread. When J. Robert Oppenheimer finally realized the sheer, devastating power of the atomic bomb his team had created, he recalled a haunting line from Hindu scripture: "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." We are a species absolutely obsessed with uncovering the universe's secrets, with splitting the atom, with beaming signals into the dark void of space. But what if our unrelenting human curiosity is the exact mechanism that will trigger our own great filter? We are left staring into a profound void here. We've traveled from the simple optical illusions of your daily life to the deep hacking of your memory, up through the tens of trillions of dollars secretly governing your every choice, and all the way out into a silent, terrifying cosmos ruled by subjective physics. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If our senses lie, if our thoughts are implanted, if our world is engineered, and if our objective knowledge is merely an illusion, what does your existence truly mean?